What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, this is definitely going to be an X-rated episode of Joe Winko Talk, what's going to be discussed in this episode. So if you're under 18, please do not watch this video. And if you're homophobic, do not watch this video either. Seriously. So I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because I have mentioned this before in some of my live streams and my gaming live streams. I wanted to talk about why I love Captain America and what got me interested in Captain America. As you guys all should know, I never really been much of a superhero person or a comic book person, honestly. I mean, the exception to that would be the Power Rangers, but I didn't really get into the Power Rangers until I became a teenager. I wasn't really into them while I was a kid. I always been into scary movies and horror movies and slasher movies instead, but I never really was much of a superhero or comic book person until recently, not counting the Power Rangers. And my favorite superhero, hands down, is definitely Captain America. Even though I never seen any Captain America movies at all, or read any of the Captain America comic books, really, or any comic books for that matter, except for The Walking Dead. So let me explain to you guys exactly how I came to start liking Captain America. Now, the thing about me, in case you guys don't know, I'm definitely a gold star gay guy, meaning that I do not like females at all. I'm only attracted to men. However, every now and then I will watch straight porn, however, like with men, with women, really. It's definitely not because I like females at all, because I obviously don't. But it's mainly because sometimes I like seeing the men do stuff to the women in the porn videos, and that's what gets me into it. I mean, it's a bit difficult to explain, but I basically just completely tune out the woman and just focus on the guy instead whenever I'm watching a straight porn video. And one day, while I was watching a bunch of videos on Pornhub, I found this one video that this couple did. They had the guy dressed up as Captain America, and they were kind of like role playing, really. The woman was like laying on her back, and she was like an evil witch who was going to destroy the world. And Captain America had to stop her from destroying the world by eating out her pussy. So then he started doing that, and after he ate her out and everything, she suddenly didn't feel like destroying the world anymore, and that's how Captain America saved the world from being destroyed by the evil witch in the porno movie that they made. And I remember watching that. I thought it was really cool, and I also thought it was kind of funny, and I thought it was like very erotic too, and it definitely got me in the mood. And then I started thinking, can we please make a gay version of this movie, please? Like, have one guy dress up as Captain America and have me be an evil magic warlock who's going to destroy the world, and the only way Captain America can defeat me is if he sucks the evil out of me and orally copulates me to the point where I'm not in a mood to destroy the world anymore, because when I'm being orally copulated, I definitely don't feel like destroying the world at all. I can assure you of that. Unless he's doing a really bad job. I will say that, though. So that's basically the whole reason why I love Captain America, because of that porn video I saw, because I thought it was really sexy and really erotic, and I really want to make a gay version of it also. And that's how Captain America became my favorite superhero, despite me never watching any of the actual Captain America stuff except for that. And that is also another sexual fantasy that I have, really. A guy to dress up as Captain America and pretend that I'm an evil magic warlock who's going to destroy the world, and the only way he can stop me is if he performs oral sex on me and swallows my sperm. As a matter of fact, I actually have the whole costume right here. I mean, I have the mask, really, and I also have the Captain America shirt in an extra large. However, despite having this stuff for almost 2 years, roughly, since I've seen that video on Pornhub, I actually never found a guy who wanted to do that with me. No guy who wants to dress up as Captain America and orally copulate me at all. And I kind of feel disappointed in that, really. The thing is, like, a lot of the guys I talk to online and a lot of the guys I talk to on hookup apps, they never want to do anything interesting like that with me. Like, if I go on Tinder and tell a guy that I want him to dress up as Captain America while he orally copulates me, he tells me, oh no, I don't want to wear anything while we're doing that. And also another thing is that he gets angry at me because I'm not a 3-minute man. Those of you who've seen this meme will know exactly what I mean when I say that I'm not a 3-minute man. Yeah, that's absolutely true, honestly. But I'm really not even into hookups, honestly. I prefer to, like, meet a guy first and talk on the phone with him. But even then, a lot of guys are too stupid to even call me on the phone, honestly. Seriously, I literally give out my phone number like candy, yet hardly any guy ever calls me at all. Not even the killer from the Scream movies. I don't know why guys online are just so stupid, really. I mean, I was trying to find a nicer word to use, but that's the best one I can come up with. They just want to get together, get everything over with really fast, and then just not do anything afterwards. Like, they seriously think I'm actually going to meet up with someone who doesn't even want to talk on the phone with me, or doesn't even want to hang out at the beach with me, or go to the park with me first, or go on a drive with me, honestly. There obviously are some exceptions, but I never found anyone who was, like, willing enough to fulfill my Captain America sexual fantasy, honestly. I even added Captain America to my Kenshi squad during one of my gaming live streams a long time ago. Those of you who follow my Kenshi gaming live streams, you guys should remember how excited I got when I finally recruited Captain America. I mean, because, well, now you know exactly what was running through my mind when I recruited him to my squad. But it seems like the guys on all the dating sites that I'm on, it seems like they have, like, absolutely no imagination, really. Which is kind of sad, because you think among gay guys you would be able to find someone who was up for that, really. Someone who would want to dress up as Captain America and pretend that I'm an evil magic warlock who's going to destroy the world. So he has to, like, suck me off so I don't destroy the world, suck the evil out of me, literally, to save the world, really. I don't know why, but the thought of that arouses me so much. Plus, I absolutely loved the Captain America in the porn video that I saw. And I know what some of you guys are thinking. You guys may all be thinking that I'm looking for, like, a really sexy guy who's, like, built like this, who has, like, a six-pack abs and, like, muscles and everything. But to be completely honest with all of you, and those of you who've been following me for a long time, personally, I believe that all men are beautiful, honestly. I mean, obviously, I prefer for them to be older than me, honestly. But it's not like I'm only looking to do that with a guy who's, like, super muscular and built like Captain America. The guy in the porno movie that I saw that I was talking about earlier, he actually was not built like this. He actually had, like, a dad bod. And by a dad bod, I mean, like, he was... Well, you guys should know what a dad bod looks like. It's like a chubby built, kinda. But if he was, like, really skinny and really scrawny like me, I wouldn't mind either. Or if he was chubbier than a dad bod, I wouldn't mind either. Because to be completely honest with you, fat guys honestly give the best blowjobs, really, so yeah, just being honest. It was actually one of my friends online who ordered this for me off my Amazon wish list a long time ago. They even ordered the shirt for me in an extra large, and I believe that's big enough to fit a guy with a dad bod. But even when I ask the guys who like aren't super muscular and who are just like everyday guys, who is what I imagine doing the Captain America sexual fantasy with, they always tell me that they're not interested, and they say, oh, I'm not into all that weird random stuff. I just want to hook up and get it over with. But most of the time, we don't even make it to that part of the conversation, because as soon as they find out that I don't do anything sexual on the first meet, they literally cut me off and ghost me. Happens all the time. So often that I almost don't even feel like talking about it in any episodes of Joe Winko Talk anymore. But one day I will meet a very nice man who will put on this mask and put on this shirt and then slide his lips up and down my shaft and glands over and over again until I ejaculate inside of his mouth and he swallows all of it, and he either cuddles with me or he keeps me in his mouth until I start hardening up again and he goes for round 2. That'd be really sweet if he did. After essentially seducing me and telling me that I'm actually not an evil warlock and that I don't want to destroy the world and that I just need to be loved on because my balls are filled with sperm and need to be released, and that he wants to help me with that and that he's on my side, exactly as the straight guy did in the straight Captain America porno video that I watched. Just gotta believe that it will happen. Power of manifestation. And everyone watching this video, please imagine that occurring. And you know what? The interesting thing is that I actually am a magic warlock. I actually do practice witchcraft and all that occult stuff, really. I haven't tried a spell to summon a friendly guy who would like to dress up as Captain America for me. But one day, I absolutely will find what I'm looking for. Someone who will dress up as Captain America for me. Perhaps the someone watching this video. I mean, wishful thinking, but you never know. Which actually brings me to my next point. So that porn video that I watched, it actually inspired me. I thought it was very erotic, but I also thought it was very interesting, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And it caused me to come up with my own idea for a comic book or Sims 2 superhero movie. Well, I was planning on having it be a comic book and a Sims 2 superhero movie. Like, it'll all be available online. I haven't really decided what to call the series itself yet, but I might just call it Captain Oral because that's the name of the superhero who I came up with. He's based off of Captain America, and let me show you a drawing for him right here. Alright, so there he is, Captain Oral. So he's going to be like the superhero in my superhero series that I plan on making. It's not going to be like a really long series with a bunch of episodes. I was planning on having like 7 or 8 episodes because I already know exactly how it's going to end. However, I'm still trying to decide what Captain Oral should look like. I don't know what color I should have his costume be because, I mean, yeah, he's based off of Captain America, but I wanted him to be different from Captain America. So I came up with some stuff about Captain Oral, but I haven't decided on what his secret identity should be, honestly. Like, you know how superheroes, like, they're in their superhero costume, but then when they're not in their superhero costume, they're just a normal person blending in with society? So, before I have myself go any further on this topic, I just want to say that since I recorded this episode of Joe Winko Talk, I actually have already decided some details about Captain Oral, but there's still some stuff that I haven't figured out yet that I honestly want you guys to decide. The people watching and who will be commenting on this video, hopefully. As for Captain Oral's occupation when he's in his normal daytime identity, he's actually going to be a blue-collar factory worker and an average looking gay white man in his mid-50s with a dad bod. However, I'm not exactly sure exactly what he should look like or what his name should be. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to pause this video here, because I do use like a reference name for the rest of this episode, but I wanted you guys to decide what Captain Oral's real name should be when he's not in his superhero identity. As I said, blue-collar factory worker, average-looking white guy in his mid-50s. He's kind of a recluse and introvert, working-class guy, obviously. And he also performs oral sex a lot on another younger guy that he develops a connection with, who's going to be me. Yeah, I'm a character in this series, too. And that's also how he defeats his villain, by performing oral sex on him, which is also going to be me. I'll be getting to that soon. And he actually does that a lot throughout the series. And he enjoys doing it every single time too, obviously. But I'm just curious, before you guys go any further, exactly who are you guys imagining? I just need to know exactly who you guys are imagining doing that, so I could model Captain Oral and his secret identity, his normal daytime identity, after someone, really. Like, could you guys give me the name of a male actor or a famous male in his mid-50s, or appears to be in his mid-50s, who has a dad bod, who I can type in his name on Google search and figure out exactly what he looks like so I can model the character after him? And what do you think his name should be, his first and last name, based on exactly how I described him, really? And another thing that I haven't figured out yet, I still don't know what color Captain Oral's costume should be. As I said, he's based off of Captain America, but I don't want his costume to be blue at all, because I don't want him to have the same color costume as the real Captain America. And also, in addition to that, the villain that he constantly pursues throughout the series wears gold and blue, and I want him to wear a different color compared to the villain. But I also didn't want him to be in a pink outfit either. He's not really supposed to be effeminate, really. I mean, no offense to feminine guys watching this, but he's just supposed to be an average blue-collar white guy in his 50s, average looking with a dad bod. Exactly who are you imagining as Captain Oral, who performs oral sex on a guy a lot who he meets online, and also defeats a villain by performing oral sex on him? Who are you guys imagining for that? What name and what actor or famous person are you imagining that he looks like as a white guy in his mid-50s with a dad bod? Please type that in the comments before you go any further on this video. But yeah, just wanted to ask you guys that first. Anyhow, let's continue. Well, in this video, we'll just refer to Captain Oral as Randy for his secret identity name. So when he's not in his superhero form, I'm trying to decide whether he should be like a businessman or if he should be a blue collar worker instead. I'm leaning more towards a blue collar worker because most of the superheroes that you see on TV, they're always like these rich businessmen and news reporters and stuff like that. But you never really hear about a factory worker who becomes a superhero. And that's kind of who I want Randy, aka Captain Oral, to be. Like a blue-collar factory worker. He's actually supposed to be in his 50s, in his mid to late 50s, and he meets another man online, a younger man who's in his mid to late 20s, who's named Joe Winko. I think you guys all see where this is going to. So yeah, I'm also a character in this Captain Oral comic book series I'm coming up with. So Randy meets Joe Winko on a hookup site and a hookup app, and they seem to hit it off pretty fine. Or at least better than any other guy Joe talked to before in this story that I'm writing. But it turns out that Joe Winko in this story is actually a magic warlock, kind of like I am in real life, except his magic and witchcraft that he does is more intense in this story universe. Joe Winko ends up casting a spell on himself to make himself extremely powerful. I haven't really decided the specifics on that spell, but I have decided one thing. There is actually a huge catch to the spell he casted on himself. The spell basically makes Joe Winko able to summon monsters to do his bidding. However, the spell also had a huge catch to it, and that catch is that Joe Winko cannot masturbate or rub one out at all. As in, he can't stimulate himself to orgasm. And, oh my god. If I, like, seriously was never able to, like, get myself off again and would have to depend on someone else to get me off, that would lead to disaster, which is exactly what happens throughout the Captain Oral series. So Joe and Randy, who hasn't became Captain Oral yet, they keep meeting up and getting together, but eventually Joe starts developing feelings for Randy, which are not reciprocated. However, Randy keeps seeing Joe over and over again and keeps performing oral sex on him over and over again. But Joe starts to like Randy, and Randy somewhat humors Joe, but he's not really attentive to Joe at first. Joe starts to like Randy even more, but Randy doesn't really seem to like Joe enough. And this pisses Joe off. So then Joe becomes a supervillain, Huevos Azul, which is Spanish for blue balls. Because that's literally what Joe Winko has, because Randy is giving him attention, but not quite enough. This is what he looks like, or what I will look like in my supervillain form. Here's the drawing right here. Alright, that's him. An evil magic warlock who wants to destroy the world because a guy he likes isn't getting him off often enough, really. So whenever he gets really pissed off that Randy isn't servicing him or orally copulating him enough, he becomes Huevos Azul. He, like, changes into his costume and he bursts into blue flames and he turns into Huevos Azul. And he summons his monster henchmen to him. I haven't decided exactly what they should look like yet, but I'll figure out something. And he tells them that he wants to destroy the world, and then he comes up with an evil plan to destroy the world. But then that's when Captain Oral gets involved. And let me tell you exactly how Randy becomes Captain Oral. So basically how Randy becomes Captain Oral, he goes to a sex shop and he purchases a bottle of Jungle Juice Platinum. And when he opens it up, he actually finds out that it's a magic bottle of Jungle Juice Platinum, and then a spirit comes out of the bottle of Jungle Juice Platinum, and the spirit warns him that there's an evil magic warlock who's going to destroy the world. And the spirit inside the Jungle Juice Platinum bottle grants Randy with superpowers, and he becomes Captain Oral. He's able to sprint and run really fast, and he's really good at combat. Even though he's like in his mid to late 50s, he's like remarkably good at combat for someone his age. And eventually he does gain the ability to fly, because he's supposed to get more and more powerful in each episode after he continuously defeats Huevos Azul. And he's also able to rapidly salivate and spit at a high velocity. And he definitely does end up using that. He never gets into fist-to-fist combat against Huevos Azul. However, there is going to be a lot of action in the series because he's going to be fighting all the monsters that Huevo Azul summons, and he's always strong enough to take them out. However, by the time he gets close enough to Huevos Azul, they don't fight each other, but then he starts seducing Huevos Azul, which isn't very difficult because Huevos Azul is like really pissed off because this guy he likes isn't servicing him enough. So then Captain Oral comes along and just like in the porno video, he starts talking to him in like this sexual seductive voice, and he says, Huevos, you're not an evil magic warlock. You don't want to destroy the world. You just need more loving. That's what you need. And then Huevos Azul basically, like, he convinces, like, during that, he convinces Huevos Azul to undo, like, any evil thing that he's doing to destroy the world, which is exactly what Huevos Azul does. And then, basically, from that point, Captain Oral performs oral sex on Huevos Azul by pulling his penis and his balls out through the fly of the briefs he's wearing, and then swallows his sperm. And that gives Huevos Azul a change of heart, and then he doesn't feel like destroying the world anymore, at least for that time, until the next issue. And then it goes on like that for quite a while, really, but I already know exactly how it's going to end. For the spirit inside the Jungle Juice Platinum bottle, I haven't drawn this yet, but after I'm done recording this episode, I'll have it drawn by then, but I'll show it right here. That's what I imagine it looking like as soon as the spirit appears to Randy after he opens the bottle of Jungle Juice Platinum. This may seem a bit off topic, but I seriously had to mention it in this video. Poppers, aka Jungle Juice Platinum, or Rush, or whatever you use, are actually not safe at all. They cause really bad side effects, and they should not be used. They really were never sold for human consumption in the first place, and recently they changed the chemicals in them that are causing anyone who sniffs on them to have really bad side effects, and it's not good. Last time I used them, I literally almost ended up dying, so I'm definitely never going to use them again. Trust me. I had to mention that because I didn't want this superhero series to promote that stuff at all. Just keep away from it, please. Trust me. However, I still thought it was cool for the spirit to be inside the popper bottle. But the spirit does tell Captain Oral, whatever I'm going to have his real name be, whatever you guys choose for his name to be, to not use jungle juice or any kind of poppers at all because they have really bad side effects. So yeah, just needed to throw that out there. Do not use that stuff. So basically, Randy is Captain Oral, Joe is Huevos Azul, Randy is also the guy that Joe has fallen in love with, but Randy doesn't reciprocate that love to Joe, at least not yet. But as the series progresses, Randy gets closer and closer to Joe. So do you guys understand what's going on in this series? Captain Oral, Huevos Azul, and Randy, Joe Winko, neither of them know that the other one is actually the superhero or the supervillain that they're supposed to be enemies against, really. So Randy, aka Captain Oral, does not know that Joe Winko is Huevos Azul, and Joe Winko, aka Huevos Azul, does not know that Randy is Captain Oral. Pretty interesting twist, isn't it? Yeah, but that's just a weird idea for a superhero series that I came up with that I'm actually going to be making into a comic book and into animated video too. I mean, like, most of it will be animated. I mean, I don't have a guy to play the part as Captain Oral, nor do I have a costume either. But I do have a costume for Huevos Azul, really. I already figured out exactly what he's supposed to look like. Well, as you see in that picture, I actually do have the armor. I do have the briefs. Don't really have the gloves or the boots yet, but I do have the mask and the cape also. I was thinking about having him wear a cape, or probably not, but I will decide later. So I already have the supervillain figured out because I'm supposed to be the supervillain in this story, but I don't really know much about what Captain Oral should be. I know that he's supposed to be a blue collar worker, but I can't figure out what his name should be or exactly what he should look like. But who are you imagining as Captain Oral right now? I mean, can you like type in a name in the comments of this video, a name that I can Google and look up of like an actor or something? Supposed to be a guy in his 50s or who at least looks like he's in his 50s and who's a white guy with a dad bod, really. Because I want him to look different from Joe Winko, aka Huevos Azul. Because Huevos Azul, aka Joe Winko, is supposed to be like slender and scrawny, exactly like I am in real life, and young and in his 20s. But Captain Oral is supposed to be in his 50s and is supposed to have a dad bod. However, he's always able to defeat Huevos Azul and is always able to fight off the monsters that Huevos Azul summons to defeat Captain Oral. But who are you imagining playing the part as Captain Oral? And what do you think his name should be too? Like his real name. I was using the name Randy in this video just as a something to refer to him as when he's not in his superhero form. Who are you imagining playing the part as Captain Oral, really? I just needed to know because I needed to model the character out of his superhero costume for his like secret identity and everything. And also another major reason why I want to make this series and everything is because like a lot of guys always bash me because I don't suck penis and I can't take it up the ass. And I even had some guys tell me that they don't want to be the beta, meaning that they don't want to be like the submissive partner, as in like they think that the guy sucking penis is weak and that the guy getting sucked off is like the dominant one. But in all honesty, that's really far from the truth, really. I mean, think about it. Like, just look at both of those characters. Look at Huevos Azul and look at Captain Oral. I mean, I haven't really colored them in yet, but that's basically a full body costume that Captain Oral is supposed to be wearing. But look how much flesh is exposed on Huevos Azul. Those are supposed to be his abs, and he's wearing the briefs, which are going to be blue because Huevos Azul is Spanish for blue balls. That's why he's mad and feels like destroying the earth. And plus he's like really scrawny and skinny, while Captain Oral has a dad bod. Not really like super muscular or anything like that, but still a dad bod. A thicker body than Huevos Azul. But that shows that Huevos Azul appears to be the more vulnerable one compared to both of them. Also because he's the one being orally copulated, because when a guy is orally copulating another guy, the guy who's getting orally copulated is the vulnerable one, really. I mean, all the other guy is doing is just slobbing his mouth all over his body part, but the guy who's actually having that done is feeling all of it and is getting stimulated by all of it and is getting the endorphin rush from all of it. I mean, the guy doing that too is also getting an endorphin rush. At least I hope he would be. I mean, gosh. But the guy receiving it is more vulnerable than the guy who's giving it, really. That's why in the Captain Oral series, Joe is falling in love with Randy, but it's not really, but Randy doesn't really care much about Joe at all. At least not in the beginning, but as the series progresses, he starts to like Joe more and more and more. He just sees Joe as like something to fulfill his like pervy desires with, but then to Joe it's much more than that, which is why Joe gets so pissed off whenever Randy doesn't give him enough attention, and which is why Joe turns into Huevos Azul and wants to destroy the world, and which is why Randy has to turn into Captain Oral and fight off all of Huevos Azul's monsters, and then seduce and perform oral sex on Huevos Azul to stop him from destroying the world. I thought that that was a very clever idea, really. But it's absolutely true, honestly, and I feel like if I make this video, guys will think differently about that. I mean, that's being overly optimistic, but yeah. Because the guy who's sucking the penis is actually the powerful one, not the guy who's getting his penis sucked, really. I mean, you see in a lot of porno videos, like when a guy is sucking another guy off, the guy getting sucked off is like ramming his penis in his mouth and everything, and he's like, choke on it, bitch. But, sorry to disappoint you, but that's definitely not me at all. Like when another guy is like orally copulating me and performing oral sex on me, like, I instinctively, like, how do I describe this? I instinctively, like, get extremely relaxed, and it's almost like this voice in the back of my head is saying, this man wants to taste you, this man wants to perform oral sex on you, this man wants to swallow you, this man wants to merge with you, relax and let it happen. It's not like I actually hear a voice, it's just that that's exactly what my body ends up doing, really. So yeah, I mean, you can blame my autism mind for that, but it's something I'm extremely passionate about. It literally gives meaning to the term suck dick save the world, because that's how he stops the magic warlock from destroying the world, by putting him in a good mood, really. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all that I have to say about it, really. Um, it was a bit awkward talking about it, but yeah, I've been feeling kind of out of it for some reason because my medication that I was on to help with my ADHD and concentration, I don't know, I just been feeling out of it because it hasn't been working as well as it usually does. Also, my type 1 diabetes has been goofing up weird lately, but I'm getting that under control. That's affecting my concentration also, and my sleeping schedule. But I hope I did a good enough job explaining this in the video. And what did you guys think of everything I talked about in this episode? Please let me know in the comments of this video. What do you think I should name Captain Oral? Like, what do you think his real name should be? What are you imagining? And what are you imagining that he looks like? I mean, could you type in the name of an actor that I can model him after? Or it doesn't really have to be an actor. It could just be any name that I can Google search and find a picture of the person and I'm like, oh, that's who they're talking about. Such as if you type in Tucker Carlson or Ron DeSantis, those men are not actors at all, but I would rather have it not be them though. I mean, please choose a nicer guy than those two guys. Seriously. Gosh. I already have enough weird thoughts about Ron DeSantis, but I'll save that for another video. So that's basically it for this episode of Joe Winko Talk. I hope you guys all liked it. Please let me know what you thought of everything I talked about. Please let me know what you think Captain Oral's name should be and what man he should be modeled after. And let me know what you think of everything I talked about in this video. And let me know what you think of Captain America, too. I personally love Captain America. And please imagine that I end up finding a nice guy who doesn't mind dressing up as Captain America and orally copulating me. That'd be very nice if you guys imagined that. If you want to. Don't want to weird you guys out. So that's basically it. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. So that's it. Peace out, people.